If you love the Little Rascals, you might be wondering how those kids turned out. So, what do we know about the actor who played Darla? The 1990s were a great decade of movies, many of which are the source of considerable nostalgia nowadays. Take the Little Rascals, for example. The movie every 90s kid had on VHS and which never got old no matter how many times we watched it. Still, even though time has obviously passed for the cast of the Little Rascals, just as it did for the rest of us, it's still shocking to see them all grown up. The story centered on Alfalfa, Spanky, and the rest of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. But there was one little girl Alfalfa had a soft spot for. Darla, played by Brittany Ashton Holmes. Holmes stole the show with her sassy attitude and belief in standing up for herself, despite being so young.
I'm in touch with my feminine side. How nice. It's worse than I thought.
She even snagged a few awards for her breakout performance, such as the Young Artist Award, which she won alongside her co-stars. The 25th anniversary of the Little Rascals came in 2019, leading us to wonder, what is the cast of the Little Rascals up to today? And in particular, Little Darla. After winning breakout roles, childhood stars often go on to have very successful careers, with a number of notable parts on their resume. While Holmes did go on to play in a handful of TV movies and even had an appearance in a McDonald's commercial in 1995, she didn't appear in anything at all after 1996, until 2014 that is. That year, Holmes played the role of Townslady Britt in the Ron Livingston-led AMC pilot, We Hate Paul Revere. Other notable roles from the 1990s include Cynthia Coates in Death Benefit and Girl on Boat in Humanoids from the Deep. It's not entirely clear why Holmes seemingly retired from acting, but it stands to reason that she just didn't want to remain in the spotlight anymore. And by the looks of it, education became her main focus as she got older. Once she was old enough, Holmes pursued a degree in political science, and not much more is known than that. While E's 2020 cast retrospective shed little more light on Holmes's current endeavors, the piece also confirmed, perhaps unsurprisingly, that Alfalfa and Darla didn't end up together in real life. As of 2017, Bughall is married to a woman named Jill Marie DeGraff, and Holmes apparently scooped up a husband herself. Besides the MySpace page she had in the early to mid-2000s, however, her social media presence is pretty sparse. There's nothing wrong with not being present on social media, of course. But if you're dying to know if her husband is a fan of the Little Rascals, you might be waiting a while to find out. That said, Holmes made an appearance for the 20th anniversary of the Little Rascals in 2014. She agreed to get back together with the rest of the gang to recreate some of the most iconic shots from the movie. Brian Pocrast, the founder of the company that staged the reunion, told HuffPost that Holmes wasn't into doing the reunion until he convinced her that it was more about the film than the tabloid appeal. And when she was reunited with her castmates, Holmes seemed to fall right back into place. At the event, she said,
"I liked wearing that red sparkly dress. The whole movie was a dream."
Apart from that small part in a movie Holmes took in the same year as the reunion, it's probably safe to assume that she's not going to be returning to screens anytime soon. Over the last few decades, it seems, she has been out there doing her own thing and enjoying the privacy of an ordinary life.